Hello everybody, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and it's been a while, I know. I was just checking when I last gave a reading on YouTube, and it was the first week of July. Well, I'm here. Well, hello again. I don't know if anybody's still listening to me, but if you are, thank you, and hello again. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to give an update first on what the past 3 months, that was July, August, and September, has been, what it means for Twin Flames, and what has, how that has translated into my experience. Okay, because it has largely a lot to do with why I haven't been on air, so to speak. Okay, so July, July was, I got the message in July that movement, we had to move in order to incorporate and get the energy moving into this dimension, because this is a very dense dimension that we're in. Okay, and not everybody that's here on earth is on the ascension track, so there's all that density, and in order to sort of translate this, it didn't have to be limited to merely energy, which most star seeds, light workers, and twin flames are capable of. Okay, because you have released through releasing of ego, of hurt, all those blockages that you've been working on. You can incorporate at a very, very, almost a quantum rate, the downloads and the energies that are needed for this planet. But because we are sort of conduits for the rest of the people that are living on Earth, and even Earth as a planet, Gaia, okay, we needed to move. So that was the message that I got in July. Okay, and in July, remember at this point in time, sometime July, manifestation, very quick. Okay, and just a word about manifestation. It's like you think it and it's already there. But there's kind of a trick to it, because you think about it, you just declare that, hey, it would be nice if this or that, and or I will want to do this or that, and you have to forget about it. Okay, you don't have to keep repeating and repeating that. You know how every some people think that just because they keep asking and asking and asking, it's like if the universe had a priority list, it would always keep you at the first of the list just because you keep asking. But that's actually not what happens. What happens is you get stuck in the energy of asking and reaffirming that you still don't have it. Okay, and that delays it. So anyway, manifestation was very quick in July. Still ongoing, but there are little tweaks. Okay, and it helps for those who have gotten the celestial abundance encoding. That helps because you kind of forget about it, you activate it, forget about it the rest of the day, and then but that vibe stays with you. Okay, so that was July, and I realized that a lot of what I'd asked for and then forgot about. Okay, and it didn't quite matter if I got it or didn't. There was no pressure there, but the universe just gave it. Okay, so that was July. Now August, I'm gonna try to keep this short, and I did a separate video for this because I didn't know how long this summation was gonna take. But in August, Lionsgate, very important. But the universe set up my August to be at very different grid points, because July, it was giving me the message that I had to move this energy, being a conduit. And then it set it up such that in August, I actually got no work done because I was traveling to 3 various places, and it so happened, and I don't believe that this is coincidence, because there are really no coincidences, but it was arranged by the universe. So it's by design that on Lionsgate, I was in a place. I was in a place wherein I was in one of the sacred lakes of this island group, and they have 13 sacred lakes, and 2 of those are not open to the public. And it was such a wonderful place to find myself in during 8/8, during Lionsgate. And curiously, this in that sacred lake, because we were hopping from one island to another, and then in that sacred lake, the energies were so intense during 8/8 that none of our cameras worked, no electronics. It's like it wasn't permitted. Well, sometimes it is, but during that day, that particular day, no, none of the underwater cameras worked. Nothing. It was like we had so many redundancies, okay, but none of it worked. So really, the energies were very, very intense, especially that I found myself there in one of those sacred lakes. It's like a cove surrounded by mountains. I'll try to put a pic up, okay? And anyway, I said August was a time wherein movement, different grid points, and August also, something very important that happened during Lionsgate was resolution of karma on all fronts. And this is why one trip in August, the first one, was about family, and that's what happened to me. Those my family were my companions. We had several cousins come over, and that's why we found ourselves there, because in Coron, okay, it is a tourist spot, but then on 8/8, we had several tours lined up, because there were a lot of they brought with them several friends, so we had to take them around. But on 8/8, there was a massive storm, and the tour planned on that first day was switched. The first day we were just supposed to go chill out on some beach sandbars, and I was pretty excited for the first day because I hadn't gone to those places yet. But because the storm and the waves were so high, the Coast Guard actually didn't let us go far, so to speak. So we swapped out the 3rd-day tour to the first day when we got there. And that's why I found myself in the Sacred Lake. It wasn't supposed to be on 8/8. But like I said, there are no coincidences. Okay, so first leg, a resolution of karma during the month of August. First leg, family. Second leg, at a different place, a different travel, was friends. And the third one was, well, I would say world, because that's, for some reason, I got picked to be a delegate in one of the international conferences, and we had delegates from all over the world that we had to interact with. So you can see the ripple effect of this being absorbing all the downloads that are important for the ascension of, personal ascension and the planet, and of course all its inhabitants. But it's put me into several places, okay, wherein you had to uh, sort of ground the energy there. But in this grounding in all those three places, what's very important to understand, and this message was given to me at the latter end of it was like before the last trip we're in. It was the world, okay, right now as a delegate at that international conference, because well, I always assume that when you get the messages, it's because it's time for you to get the message. You're not going to get the message if it's not time. It's like when when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that's the same mindset that I take when it comes to these signs, synchronicities, and all that. Okay, and what's very important when you're given these messages, in whatever medium that it may come, it could be, excuse me, very simplistic or not obvious, but I was given the reason why, because central to these three places that I visited, was the element of water. Okay, the first one wherein I was there for like a week, and that was the week of Lionsgate. And then that's why I couldn't give YouTube readings. Also, I knew I would be traveling, and it would be unfair if it took me a whole super long time before I could get back to you. So I chose not to give readings, but I did give healings for those who ordered through the website. Anyway, so there, central to these three destinations, okay, maybe let us represent them. Okay, this is three. Oh, okay, no, this is three. This is the world. Okay, we're in other international delegates. This is the second one. Okay, central to all these three destinations, the theme was really water. Here, the first one, remember, family, resolving family karma. And this was relatively calm waters because, like I said, sacred lakes, and very, very clear, crystal, pristine, and different temperatures. I don't know how to describe it because in some lakes there it is a mix of fresh water and hot water, and it gives certain, that's why if you go to other parts of the lake and you swim or snorkel there, it's different temperatures, but anywhere you go, it's totally, totally clear. And you are surrounded by these great limestone cliffs, which acts as, it's like an acoustic barrier for, well, not really acoustic, but like an energy barrier that concentrates the energies that are pooling there. And because a lot of us have family karma that needs to be resolved, then that needs to be resolved first. Okay, so family, and then the second, friends. And here, the pool of water that was central to that leg of my adventure was rapids. Okay, river rapids, great rushing river rapids. I think in the U.S. There are categories of rivers. Well, we don't have that here in my country, but suffice it to say, because our boatman was, had been a boatman for a long time, and one of my companions, fellow rafters, had done that river 5 times before. And she said that the time that we went on the rapids was totally crazy. Okay, the river was like, I don't know, amok, going crazy. It was very, very dangerous. Okay, in fact, I got thrown overboard and I nearly drowned. And the guy was trying to save me, because we had spotters with on kayaks. What spotters, and they're supposed to be really good swimmers, but the river was just really crazy. It was like a very, very angry river, and I'm like, wow, this is the first time I'm doing this, and I get the crazy river, okay? And so I get thrown overboard. Well, all of us were thrown overboard at some point in time, okay? But when I was thrown overboard, and it took several, I don't know, I was counting. It's close to like 5 to 7 seconds. I was rolling underground, hitting rocks, and just, swallowing water, and trying to get my head up and get some air. Because I was looking, we had a video of it, because there was one guy assigned just to document. Okay, and I was saying, hey, this is the time that I fell off. And although it was just 7 seconds underwater, it felt like an eternity. Well, not really, but it was because you couldn't breathe. Okay, you were struggling. So anyway, the guy was trying to save me. Well, when we were trying to get back on the main boat, we just capsized again. So we were like, oh no, the guy who's going to save me doesn't have control of his kayak. And but anyway, it was fun. My other friend said that I'm never going to do that because that's so dangerous kind of way. But that rushing river. So that was the next. And here, the third one, the conference just happened to be held at, this is also a river, but it was not in I wouldn't say the heart of the jungle. Well, because the river we took, it was like the Amazon River, wherein it's nature already. It's almost jungle and mountain nearby. But here, the conference happened to be held at a hotel that was by the main river of that country, where commerce is usually held. And so all these three, and not only that, because here it was pouring. It was still it was raining buckets. So all this, so water as the conduit of all these energies. It's like the electricity. And that's why very important during the past, since Lionsgate, to ground yourself. Okay, and by grounding, this is inculcating yourself back into, it's like your life before you discovered you were a twin flame, a star seed, and a light worker, and just relating and being with other people, because that was most important at that time. Because in interacting with others, that's how you sort of spread those important downloads that we just received. Okay, and so that was August. August just being, I remember, July, we were told movement, very key. And here, right before this last leg, I got the strangest message that I'm sure you all know, because but it explained this whole theme of water to me, because I had never watched Moana, okay, because it was cartoons, and I prefer to watch other things than animated cartoons. Um, just I just didn't prefer that. It doesn't really hold my attention. But for some reason, and I forget now why, either, oh, I remember now. Okay, I came across a Facebook post of that scene wherein Moana was put back the heart of Gaia, and but it was a very short clip. But I found it so uplifting and inspiring and high vibe. And I found that post. That post was in one of my spiritual groups. And I think I shared it at the time on my Facebook page. So that's what led me to watching Moana. And when I did, and that was right before this, was it right before? I think it was after. Because I remember as soon as I got back from here, I had to tell, so this would be, yeah, even career, okay, career and the world at large. So people that you don't really have a bond with, but you have a purpose with. So that's a third renegotiating of karma, releasing of karma. That was the third leg, okay. And yes, I remember now that it was after this, because I couldn't have had time to watch it, because after this leg, the rest of the delegates actually went to went abroad, flew out a day before I did. No, it's they were flying out on time. I begged off to go there a day late, because I was arriving from here almost close to midnight, and the flight that they were taking was really early the next day. And what am I didn't want to sleep at the airport. I needed time to prepare for this, because it was a career thing, and and I needed to pack for this. So I asked for a day. They went there a day ahead, and I just followed the next day. So anyway, there, I watched Moana, and that seemed to tie everything, all the messages I was getting together. Um, that we know the way, okay? We know the way, and all those Moana songs, I can't call them to mind, but I actually enjoyed it, and I kept watching and watching it over and over again. And even Spotify found a playlist, because it was so high vibe. And to think that this movie came out in, I think, 2016, okay? But if you've forgotten about it, watch it again, because that's actually what we're doing right now. We're trying to regenerate the earth and remembering where we come from, and exactly we know the way. And so the rest is just, chill out while you're here and enjoy your stay. So, okay, so that's it basically for August. In September, the whole September, that talks about integration, okay? Because here, it's like you grounding, passing it on, and getting whatever you need to reconnect. And remember, so while the message was to go out of your new comfort zone, I'm calling it a new comfort zone, because when you're in the when you're in the twin flame community or the spiritual community, that is your comfort zone. Meaning that people speak the same language, you all know what you're talking about, you're not labeled as crazy because everybody else can sense all this energies, angels, divine, the divine presence, and all that. Okay, so we were told to move, get out from there. Here, ground it, and get as much of that. The water, actually, the water involved in this three, that is that was part of the catalyst. Water, emotions, releasing karma, in these legs. Okay, so family, friends, career, or world, the world at large. Okay, and September is about integration. Okay, you were told to go out so that you get be properly grounded, because because of the quantum nature of the downloads right now, to actually match your crystalline bodies. If you've got into that stage, it's very, very fast. Okay, but you have to integrate that to Earth, and you have to. It's like you have to transpose it. Even if it is the same thing, it's like when you go to Britain and everything is in ounces, measuring system is in cups, and then you go somewhere else and it's ounces, sorry, it's like a recipe will call for 50 grams of this, 85 grams of that. I'm like, what are grams? I know how to measure in like ounces or cups, but they're the same thing. So anyway, I just mentioned that because, oh, sorry. I just mentioned that because you have to transpose or convert the energy. It's like, what are those machines? Because the voltage, let's say the voltage in the United States is 110. And you have to have, what do you call those little machines? Not a converter. Oh gosh, the word escapes me. I'm sure you remember it right now and you're going to put it in the comments. Anyway, you have that. The word that I keep thinking about is transistor because I know there's a T in there. Transformer, okay? A transformer. That transforms the voltage, because like here in this region we have 220 voltage, so it's the same energy, but you have to transform it to make it usable where you are. And that's what the grounding is all about, because you cannot you have to transform. It's like you're a high capacitor, and you have to transform that in energy that is absorbable to others. And that's why you're called to go out and, mingle and, be with ordinary people, situations. And of course, if you're going to do that in the circles that you may have influence in. And that's why these three circles are called, because it's a dual purpose. You release the karma while converting the energy that actually helps releasing all that, or making the situation better in these key areas of your life. So because now you're grounded, that was September, that was integration, and there was also a call back to healing. Okay, it's like, okay, go out there, but then come back in. We're going to debrief, reassess, and continue your work. So it was like a hiatus. It's like a mission trip, so to speak. But it's a mission trip in time that you just did. But there are callbacks already. That okay, you've laid down the groundwork. Come back now, and especially when it comes to healing, because I was even um, because I was out for most of August. I was trying to do catch up with work, so that I could have time for my mission. Okay, and but it's been a while since I've been done a reading or any healing, but an incident happened in the office when it was one of those days wherein I happened to stay late at work, and I don't usually do that. And I was talking to one of my office mates, my coworkers, and then all of a sudden she turned she was white as a sheet. Okay, she just froze. She turned white as a sheet, and I was saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay? What's going on? What's going?" Because she wasn't. She didn't. She doesn't usually do that. And then, so she called her husband over to get her to the doctors, and then so I was asking her what it was, and then she just told me that she was just diagnosed a couple of days ago with, what do you call that? Carotid artery stenosis. So it's like a blockage in her carotid artery, and of course, first aid, trying to check if it was a stroke or not. But while we were waiting for her husband to come, and the nurse is getting her BP, I did Reiki on her, okay, and I could feel. I actually forgot that I actually feel what they feel, what my clients feel, even if they're miles away. And I was feeling what she was feeling at that point in time, and a lot of it was fear because she still had little kids. Okay, and so a lot of that episode was maybe 30% medical and 70% panic. Okay, which which aggravated the symptoms like her high BP and all that. But that was an occasion to use Reiki. And okay, I'm being called to do this again because I happen to know how to do this, right? And then the next episode wherein I had a callback, so to speak, was did you know that hydrangeas are poisonous to pets? I didn't. Okay, and I bought a couple over the weekend, and while we were busy repotting, my other dog, the youngest one, who I call my vegetarian dog, but before she would chew on healthy herbs, and she would not chew on other unhealthy herbs, but she would chew on the basil, the ashitaba, the parsley and all that, and that's fine. And she would chew on. We have this herb called tawa tawa, and that's good for low blood platelets and all that. It's an herbal medicine. It's a plant that's an herbal medicine. Okay, so that was fine. But here, so I didn't know that it was dangerous, especially because they're so pretty. But and she's usually a chill dog. So even if she was just lying about, I wouldn't know that there's something wrong with her until she started vomiting. She started vomiting and vomiting, and that's when I go and check Google because it was almost it was late, and it's a good thing that I really had activated charcoal on hand. I called her vet. Her vet was out at a convention someplace else, and of course I need first aid. So I let her drink some activated charcoal and Reiki'd her. Okay, did Reiki on her till the morning. And here's the Arcturians. I have mentioned this before. They're wonderful quantum healers. And when you ask for their help, they come right away. Okay? And so usually what I do is I call them, and before they really came energetically, they were outside the door. Okay? It wasn't, they're outside the door, and I kind of got scared. That was my other dog. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So I call them, and when you do that, you say, Lord Arcturus and the Arcturians, please multiply so and so's light quotient by 100%. And it truly, truly works. Okay, and so I called them, and I did Reiki on her, and then because my problem was you don't get much feedback from the dogs because they don't talk, and I really wanted to know what happened was I was doing Reiki in her, and I could feel what she was feeling, and the next day it's like it transferred to me, but I didn't mind. Her symptoms, they all transferred to me, but I didn't mind because I would know what to do because I would know what hurts and all that. So it's just like because uh, a symptom of eating hydrangeas, you get respiratory distress, you get irritable bowel, okay, and basically it's because when you chew on the leaves and the flowers, it releases this something that turns into cyanide, and so and the chewing action releases that. It releases something in the plant cells that turns into cyanide. The term escapes me. But anyway, Ash is well and good now, thank God, and thank the Arcturians, and that brings us to now. Okay, so integration and a callback, and so here, because we've done our part for that leg. Okay, we prepared ourselves, and kind of been grounding the energy in different grids and knowing how to convert and transform this otherworldly energy for Earth's use, so to speak. And that brings us here. And I'm glad that I'm back. I will, hopefully, after this, I am going to do readings again, and my side is still up. Okay, I didn't just like float off into thin air. And if I haven't responded to any of your messages, if you did send me some, do send one again because it might have gotten buried in my inbox because, like I said, September was catch up, and there are times wherein was ignoring social media so that I could turn in whatever I had to turn in. Okay, so that is the summary of the past 3 months messages, and usually when it happens to me, it's happening to the collective. Oh, one other thing, the dreams, very, very vivid. I think it's been 2 weeks now. It's like I've been dreaming in HD, and this has to do with our crystalline bodies being able to adapt, being suited in this multidimensional living, so to speak. Okay, because really, so you're in this different dimension, but you know how to shift. it's awesome. So let me know if you've been dreaming more profusely than you have before. And this was maybe 2 weeks into September, the second week of September, up to now. But like I said, that is a consequence of integration. Okay. And so do let me know if you're experiencing that as well. And I hope that this explanation, because usually when it happens to to well, to me, it's usually for translation, and it's like that for abridgment and translation. So 3 months in, yeah, I think I'm going on 40 minutes. I don't think that's too bad. That's like divide by 3, that's like 20 per month, 20 minutes per month. Anyway, if you're still there and you're still listening, thank you very much. I shall be back with some readings for you. Okay? Namaste. Thank you.